back to another election edition of Meet Victoria with Caleb Shaw. We are powered by ThriveFuel Digital Marketing. Guys, early voting is February 14th through the 25th, and Election Day is March 1st. We're excited. We've got one of our Victoria County Commissioners in here for Precinct 2 running again and as the incumbent. So without further ado, my friend, for those that don't know you, if you would, please introduce yourself.
Yes, my name is Kevin Janak. Been a lifelong resident of Victoria County. Went to Mission Valley School, Stroman High School, married my high school sweetheart. We have two wonderful children, Jamie and Jeremy, and three stinky little granddaughters.
Hey, yes, sir. Those are the best. You are the incumbent in this race. How long have you been in office?
We've been in office for 15 years. It's very humbling that the residents continue to, to follow me, not necessarily follow me, but back me and believe in this. We share the same beliefs because I do represent them.
Yes, sir.
I do continue to work for the taxpayers and not just for myself.
Well, back 15 years ago, what made you decide to run, and more importantly, what makes you want to continue to run for office?
Well, Caleb, my wife said I shouldn't even be telling this story, but I didn't even know when Mr. Nobles, I saw it in the newspaper that he was going to retire, and I looked at it and I got this chill down my body and said, I need to do this. Well, I couldn't shake that. And so I went on down to next door neighbor at that time, and they were building a metal building, and told the employee that was there that you're fixing to lose your boss. He says, yes, and another guy there says, Kevin, you need to run for that. And lo and behold, here I am. And so now the reason why that I want to continue running, because I still want to keep Victoria the lowest tax rate that we can to make sure that Victoria County residents keep taxes low so business can thrive and Victoria can still continue to be an affordable place to live.
Yes, sir. For those that don't know or are maybe a little confused about it, what is the role of a county commissioner?
We have two hats. The first hat is the courthouse hat, and the second hat is out in the roads. We have to maintain in our precinct 146 miles of roads. And in that 146 miles, we have to maintain the bridges as well. And then we also have now the courthouse hat is where we adopt the budgets for and we also are in charge of the tax rate for the residents. We only receive so much money from the taxpayers. And once we receive those funds, that's how we set the budgets. And one thing that I'm very proud of is I treat all departments the same, because there might be some individuals, when you're in office this long, there are departments in certain areas of the county that have not gotten their way on as far as the amount of money they want to receive. But we only receive so much from the taxpayers, and so we have to be very diligent on that.
Yes, sir. Well, that's a good point. How would you say, is there room in the budget, is there pork in the budget? Is there areas that you guys could lean up, or are you running pretty lean and efficiently already?
No, we run pretty lean because we are actually so close to the effective tax rate. That's when you receive the same amount and it goes out, and that's we're really very, very close to that.
Yes,
and
sir.
So there is no pork and no budget, because we do run lean. And plus, we still got to keep in mind that we still have the 600 or so employees that we want to keep. And so it's a balancing act that what we have, and sometimes it's very difficult, but there again, that's why when you run for office and you hold these positions, nothing's really easy.
Yes, sir. So one of the things that I've seen lately, and I would like some clarification on, is the road repair. You mentioned roads. Do you guys as county commissioners, are you responsible for the roads outside of the city, and then the city is responsible for inside, or how does that work?
That's a good question, because a lot of people don't understand that. We have 146 miles in our precinct, and we are only responsible for the roads outside of the city limits. Yes, inside the city limits are in charge. The city's in charge of those. Okay.
Roger that.
We do share that the overpasses, for example, on the loop. The county did contribute funds to help the city out, not necessarily help them out, I guess to help the residents out inside the city limits on the overpasses. And we have done that, and there's a lot of other departments that we do share with their tax dollars.
Gotcha. What would you, and you kind of touched on it briefly a second ago with taxes, but what would you say your top priorities as a candidate are, or as the incumbent candidate?
Yes, well, I'll tell you that the top priorities are to keep the tax rate the same, because if we always have appraisal creep. correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you know, we
High
all
appraisal creep. Yes, sir.
are affected by appraisal creep. Now, when we have appraisal creep, that does bring in more revenue. But you keep in mind, if the school districts do not get that appraisal creep, well, then the state comes in and adjusts the appraisal district. Okay. Now, as far as the candidate, as far as what I'm really looking for, my goal is to keep the tax rate the same, keep the taxes as low as we possibly can, so the businesses can strive, and also the Victoria County will be an affordable place to live.
Yes, sir. No, and that's something as a real estate broker that I see a lot is, you know, I had people that bought houses 6, 7, 8 years ago, and they were very fiscal. They were approved to 180, but they bought in the 140s because they wanted something they can manage. Well, now their assessed values have gone so high on their homes that a lot of them are having to turn around and sell their homes now because their taxes have gone up so much. And, you know, and that worries me because I haven't seen, you know, wages matching the inflation and the rising property cost, and I'm glad to hear that you're looking out for taxpayers, because that's one of the things that just scares the fire out of me.
It scares the fire out of everybody. But one thing about it is if you keep that tax rate the same or lower it, which we have.
Yes, sir.
The county has lowered that tax rate, but right now it's $39.59 on per 100. But if we continue to keep that low, then the appraisal creep we kind of curve that a little bit.
Gotcha. Some of the things that, you know, were, you know, I would say that probably, you know, voter ignorance, that a lot of us just don't know what necessarily, you know, city council does or county commissioners until something like Harvey pops up or whatever, and then they shine a big old light right on everybody, and then everybody on Facebook and everybody everywhere else is an expert on everything, you know, and I'm not going to pretend to be. I'm learning as my way through this as I go, but Hurricane Harvey, again, I know inside my household we had a lot of lessons learned, and we were prepared in some areas and we weren't prepared in other areas, and we've tried to plug those gaps and get there. What lessons did Harvey teach you guys? And I want to start with first, what did you guys get right with Harvey?
Well, in my opinion, we almost got everything right. Okay? Because if you look at Rockport, right now they're still trying to repair their courthouse. We had over $7.5 million. The insurance company paid us $5.3 million, I believe, of damages that were done. And so when we got together right after Hurricane Harvey, there was the Disaster Act. They were able to, if you wanted to, go ahead and go straight and repair all the buildings. And that's exactly what we did, because we had all this damage out there and contractors were everywhere, supplies were short, so we decided to go with this company to repair all of our buildings, and that's what we did. Now, after the fact, we go through it, and then we had some departures in employees, and then we received this one bill for $852,000, and I was one of 5 that agreed to that, as far as not going out for bids. We would go ahead and go underneath the Disaster Act and selected this. So then all of a sudden we received this final bill, and we had employees leave, and so we actually looked at it and said, wait a minute, should we pay this bill? And so that's when we formed the 4 individual group that started this to look into, more or less, do the blue tape on the wall business.
Yes, sir.
And that when that group was formed, we actually saved Victoria County $1 million.
Wow.
Okay, and I do know there's a lot of individuals out there that are saying there was mismanaged funds and all this. That's furthest from the truth. We were audited by an outside firm 5 times. So Hurricane Harvey came in 17, correct?
I believe so, yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So we've been audited from the outside about 4 years, let's say 4 years. The way the county government is set up is we have an auditor, and the auditor answers to district judges. The auditor is completely separate from county government, and so they look at it, and then we have an outside firm that audits the auditor. So we've had an outside auditor to look at those funds, and that's what's kind of disheartening, that people still continue to think that there's mismanaged funds, which is not the truth.
Can the public see, forgive me, I didn't mean to overtalk you. Can the public see, you know, are they able to look at the results of that audit or see that audit, or is it a classified type thing?
No, nothing's classified in county government. We receive that book every year from that outside audit, so everybody can read that book and they can look at it anytime they like. And matter of fact, it should be online.
Good deal.
Okay?
You're right. That is one of the things critics point to is they say a mismanagement of funds and then a lack of transparency, but the audit was done and it's available to view.
It is that. And also we receive awards from the state of how open Victoria County actually is as far as transparency. There are awards that are given, and we receive one of the highest awards there are for transparency, only because we have online.
Yes, sir.
And everything that we have, we made sure everything was on, we place it online. And, but what it gets me is we have that group of 4 that was formed, and $1 million we received that we would not have received if we did not get involved at that time. We asked for an extension because what we have is the ACV, the actual cost value compared to the real cost value, the depreciation. And our insurance company, we're able to receive the depreciation if we have projects that were unplanned before Hurricane Harvey hit. So with that being said, that's how the parking lot at the health department was done.
Yes, sir.
And then now with all the RCV money and the depreciation money, so to speak, we were able to clear up with the airport because FAA demands that it does receive all of the money that it should receive, and they have. We have written the final check after we finished up with the contractor. The airport has received their final $21,000 and some change, and so now we're all leveled up.
Yes, sir. Sounds good. We're running out of time, but I want to briefly, and sadly we're not going to have time to delve into it, but I would like to just surface level address animal control under the sense of, we were talking off camera, there was just a committee formed and different things happening. Again, we don't have time to chop it all up, but I want to just relay the fact that things are happening. Animal control is being looked at, is being addressed, and hopefully some resolutions and problems are going to be solved. But I wanted to get on camera with you talking to have you commit to working this thing till the end. Like, hey, let's get this fixed, let's make it happen, and let's turn this into a positive for our community instead of the negative that it seems to be dividing us and bring us all together.
You bet, Caleb, because I'll tell you, we had 2 wonderful ladies that came into court a couple of months ago, and their heart was completely in the right place, and they were there for the animals. And one thing about that is there's so misinformation out there that's being spread about animal control. But now with the new law that's in place, we're going to have some growing pains again, as you very well know, because the residents aren't going to know who to call. Mm-hmm. They're going to call the PD, they're going to call the SO, they're going to call animal control, and it's going to be a circus out there for a while until we get it all ironed out. Now with this committee, I'm hoping that once this committee gets together and starts actually looking into the items, that we're able to iron some of this stuff out, because it's truthfully all about the animals. Okay. And that's what it all boils down to. Yes, sir.
Agreed. In 60 seconds, do you have anything? I'm going to give you the floor. Do you have anything that you want to get out? Anything that I've skipped over instead of hitting you with another question? Do you have anything you want to get out? Or I can hit you with another question. Your call on this one.
Hey, well, Caleb, one thing I like to tell everybody at home is that Kevin Janak hasn't changed. I'm still I strive to be the most conservative individual with your tax dollars out there, and I try to treat everybody the same. One thing about it is I like to do a little bit of advertising now, if I may, is if someone at home has a loved one or even a neighbor that's a loved one, that they're afraid they're not getting meals or no one checks on them, why don't you go ahead and give Vicki Smith with Community Action to a call, and her phone number is 578-2989, and that way this individual might not be eating regularly. So give her a call so they can see if they qualify for a meal once a day and plus a wellness check. It's one of the greatest things that our tax dollars do. I try to promote this all the time because this is what it's all about. Our tax dollars should take care of the people that can't take care of themselves.
Yes, sir. For those that want to follow your campaign, reach out to you or just see what you're doing, how can they do so?
You can reach me you can call me anytime at 361-935-0560, of course to the courthouse or on Facebook. Or my email is kjanak78@gmail.com. I work for y'all, so.
Roger. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to come on here. Again, we're grateful to all you guys that serve and do this. It's an intrusion into your home and your family and your personal time. So thank you for doing that, and thank you for serving our community. Guys, one more time. Early voting is February 14th through the 21st, and Election Day is March 1st. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we will see you at the next one.